Could NASCAR be headed to Long Beach? According to Marshall Pruitt from a Racer.com article, he reported that this could be a possibility. And seeing how NASCAR has a vacancy in the Southern California market, this could be something that really makes sense if it all goes through correctly, whether it's this year or years down the line. In the article, quote, multiple sources tell Racer that NASCAR has been actively pursuing the 50% stake in the Long Beach race, a staple of the IndyCar calendar since 1984. This is something that I think should be watched intensely just because of how many parties it affects and what the long-term effects could be for racing in America, let alone just NASCAR. NASCAR did decline to comment to Racer about these quotes, so there's nothing really from them per se about this in particular, but quotes from Ben Kennedy were put into this article, and some of them say as, quote, the Southern California market is extremely important to NASCAR. We have explored several different options in the area and will continue to do so. I won't speak specifically to any particular racetrack in Southern California, but will say if we had our druthers, we would have a race in Southern California every year, which just matches up with about everything NASCAR has done actions-wise since the late 1990s. The Southern California and just California market in general is one that NASCAR has struggled to get a foothold in a very crowded sports and motorsports market. And it's a huge area of the country for car culture as well, so you have to think that just from the top down and down to the top up, well, there's going to be a lot of positives that can be taken from that if there is the ability to get this as maybe a foothold for them. And there are also reports that Penske Entertainment has been trying to block NASCAR's efforts in doing so. Well, thing is here, I think that this could have a huge effect and ripple long-term on American motorsports. So how would this work? Well, currently the Long Beach Grand Prix is scheduled to be the weekend of April 19th to the 21st. At the moment for NASCAR, this is the perennial weekend for the spring Talladega date, 6 weeks after the current West Coast swing that has been smaller and smaller over the years. So there would have to be some schedule movement. That's not to say that they couldn't maybe move Dover to later in the year where it used to be and put Talladega a week later, or put Talladega a week earlier, maybe put it on Easter whenever it comes around in April. I don't think that'd be the greatest move. Maybe they put Long Beach as the Easter weekend. It could be something like that. And when it comes to the West Coast swing, yeah, this could also work, but maybe separating those West Coast races also could give a little bit of lenience per se to the West Coast viewer when it comes to going to the races and watching them as well when they're nearby. I could see them using the schedule slot that ISC has currently for wherever they put a date instead of Auto Club. You see, when it comes to the Chicago street race, it's generally kind of seen that it's in the slot on the schedule that ISC and NASCAR would have the Chicagoland Speedway. So what does it replace? The first Darlington race? That could be an option. Is it replacing one of the independent races or leased out racetracks? That could happen too. I don't think it's going to have necessarily a huge effect on the schedule or taking tracks off for good by any means for NASCAR, but I do think that having something that could be seen as a prestigious race from the start, especially if it's earlier on in the season, could be something that would help NASCAR with viewership and gaining hype for whatever season they put it in. 25, 26, 27, wherever. It's probably going to take a while. Where I think this will be a huge effect is for IndyCar and Penske Entertainment. The image right now for IndyCar is that it's teetering. Morale seems low just from an outsider's perspective, and anyone you really hear talk about it has something negative to say. To me, IndyCar fans right now kind of sound the way that NASCAR fans did in the middle of 2010. Less people are watching as well. And what NASCAR could do if they gain this control is basically control one of the biggest dates on the IndyCar calendar. And if they don't want to go head-to-head, but they maybe want to do a doubleheader, they could make the IndyCar race on a Saturday and make the Cup race on a Sunday. It might not help for attendance when it comes to both, but TV-wise, it would probably help NASCAR immensely while hurting a rival. Like, I know that this is something that has been done in the past, the double headers, and they've worked together a little bit, but a couple things are clear as day to me. One, IndyCar fans and NASCAR fans are not the same. I was at the IndyCar doubleheader with NASCAR at Indianapolis a few years ago, and as soon as the IndyCar race ended, all the IndyCar fans left and all the NASCAR fans came in. And from those that I've known who have been there, from the footage I've seen, it's the exact same thing that happened each year. Secondly, this is a cutthroat business. NASCAR and IndyCar, while being two very different forms of motorsport, are incredible rivals as well because they do share a lot of the hardcore viewer base of motorsport fans in this country. And if NASCAR were to do something maybe a little more blatant than what they did after the split when it came to trying to maybe bring different entities against each other, but if NASCAR were to do this, it would be a huge play and a huge power grab when both of these entities are battling Formula One as well in America. And it would shore up a good area of the country for NASCAR that we've said NASCAR is really, really interested in. Like I said, keeping NASCAR in the Southern California market, whether they say it or not, is going to be a huge goal. The Clash at the Coliseum has played its course. There is no way that anyone could really tell a NASCAR fan to keep coming to the Coliseum because basically the hype had died. Auto Club at the moment is being torn down and trying to be reconfigured, but it's no guarantee that it necessarily will come back or that the racing itself will be good or that it's even a draw for people in the area. And while there's been rumors of racing in Dodger Stadium, those at the moment are merely just rumors. One of the possible options along with maybe a possible Long Beach race that they could have. For NASCAR, the only thing I can see are positives with this. The big part is schedule diversity. First off, you get a road course. While NASCAR probably did oversaturate the road courses, having a nice rotation maybe of them would be a way to spice up the schedule every year, get to different areas of the country, while also maybe having a little less effect of that fatigue. Maybe one year you go to Long Beach, another year you go to Road America, and so on and so forth. It also adds the fact that there could be a guaranteed street race every year. There's no guarantee that Chicago comes back next year. While it's in the contract, we've seen Chicago break contracts with different racing series and just about anyone over the years, and that could happen. They very well could back out. And NASCAR would need some big street race event that they seem to say they want to keep that kind of mentality going forward and promotion going forward. And like I said earlier, it could add a prestigious race immediately, just merely based on where it is. While I don't think that necessarily everything will be a win for NASCAR or a loss per se for IndyCar, it would be a huge paradigm shift that I don't think really any of us are ready for. So with all of that laid out there, I want to ask you the big question. Do you think NASCAR should go after Long Beach, or should they leave it alone and leave everything as is? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great NASCAR and motorsport content. Be sure to watch the NASCAR Weekly Podcast tomorrow night on my channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're definitely going to be talking about this. And until next time, have a good one.